Crickets. I am uncomfortably familiar with the sound of crickets. Chirping insects used traditionally in fictions to indicate mystification and slight embarrassment, like so. Me, here it is, my latest novel. Others? There are no letter E's in this. It's almost gibberish. Or pomo. Me, that's on purpose. Others? There they are. So familiar, so comforting. I hear these crickets just about every time I have to explain an idea to anyone. It's horrible. It's like this. Since I actually started earning real actual American money from writing recently, I've been a little less shy about identifying myself as a writer at parties and welcome family holiday gatherings. Believe for me, but all I've done is trade humiliations. Before, when I mentioned writing, people asked me if I'd published anything, which of course was code for, have you earned any money, you lazy jackass? Now I get the smugly answer in the affirmative, and this just leads people to ask me what my book is about. My book is, in essence, a novel about a noirish detective come assassin who battles cyborgs in a future dystopia. Try saying that to someone with a straight face. You will hear crickets. So, crickets are my friends. Anytime I attempt to explain an idea to someone before the book is written, crickets. Or even after the book is written. In fact, trying to summarize or briefly explain any of my story ideas generally leads to crickets and quickly being the only person standing by the bar muttering to myself. After a while, you get to a point where you just tell people it's a book about a teenage wizard/vampire who earns his law degree and goes on to battle a soulless corporation, risking his immense personal fortune and life, while at the same time learning about love, true heroism, and the horrible conspiracy that controls all our destinies. And also, too, there are ancient codes embedded in every book ever published, ever. The fundamental truth behind this is simple. Everything I write sucks. Everything you write, too. Heck, everything Will Shakespeare wrote. All of it. Everyone. Suck. The fact is, no matter how popular something is, someone, somewhere, thinks it sucks. Probably more than one someone. Everything I've ever written sucks in someone's opinion. The only difference is the exact type of suckage they ascribe to it. Since I hate subtlety and like well-ordered lists of things that can be profitably discussed within the confines of a 3- or 4-page essay, we're going to go on record and say there are exactly 4 ways. Believe me, this is for your own good. The alternative is pretty much Jeff writes on this topic until he collapses from exhaustion. You don't want that. So here's the 4 ways in which people can think my work sucks. And believe me, if I show a book to a group of people, at least one of them will think my writing is turdish and painful, perhaps more than one, perhaps all of them, in a secret conspiracy to hate me. 1. Not the way I'd do it. Basically, you didn't write the book they would have written if they weren't lazy, entertainment-consuming parasites on the back of the working writer, or the book they did write and are now thrusting into your sweaty hands with demands that you read it and be careful with it, goddammit, as it's the only copy in existence. 2. Too much, too little. It can be maddening when the main feedback you get from someone is that there's too much of something, especially when that something is the very aspect you consciously chose to concentrate on. Like hearing there's too much shooting in a western, or too much angst in a teen romance. The kicker is when you revise according to this feedback and scale back the aspect of the story, only to get the exact opposite reaction the next time they read it, or from the next test reader. This is the point where murder is usually planned. The subtle knife, it cuts. Perhaps the most horrifying way someone could tell you that your magnum opus sucks is to simply not get it. After you spend 300 pages subtly implying that one of the main characters is actually the family's pet dog, though this is never explicitly stated, they stare at you like you're crazy. This sort of thing makes you question your sanity and your methods, like wondering if drinking a whole bottle of rye before writing in the evenings is really the correct approach. Coupled with your softly glowing liver, this can make one doubt himself and everything he has ever known. Not me, of course, this hypothetical writer we're discussing. Seriously, not me. Stop looking at me that way. 4. Why isn't anyone kissing? There are people out there who think every story ought to have some romance in it, or some gunfights, or some spaceships, or philosophical discussions. These folks are looking to read a completely different book, of course, but they doggedly pursue the last page of your book just so they can tell you what's wrong with it. Or, of course, the folks who think that science fiction is magic, and therefore your characters should have whatever superpowers they can think of. Why can't your cyborgs transform into cars? Why can't your aliens become invisible? Why can't your book be good, for the love of Pete? Don't misunderstand. I'm not implying here that the only reason someone thinks your work sucks is because they suffer from some sort of personality disorder that causes them to think about everything in a distorted, horrible way. Not so. I freely admit that sometimes your work might just suck. Believe me, there's a filing cabinet in my office that has flies buzzing around it constantly due to the high level of crap shoved in it, festering the years away. The point here is that every single thing you write, every scrap of it, no matter how well regarded it might be by just about everyone else, will be regarded as suck by someone, somewhere, for one of the above reasons. And this is maddening, because you can't do anything about it. And that is maddening, because this means that no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, someone always thinks your work sucks. The worst part, of course, is that they're usually right.